This screenshot from a U.S. Department of Defense video clip shows a Russian Su-27 fighter jet flying over the Black Sea near Crimea in March near an American Reaper drone spraying what the Defense Department calls jet fuel. Timothy Snyder, a widely acclaimed historian at Yale University and an expert on conflicts in bloodlands of Central and Eastern Europe, recently wrote an important article on the state of war in Ukraine. It offers an insightful analysis of the reasons why the United States and NATO should continue to support Ukraine in its resistance to Russian aggression. He argues that calls for negotiated resolution of the conflict are premature and that only a decisive victory for Ukraine will ensure lasting peace and deter Russia from further aggression. As he stated, Ukrainians defend the legal order established after World War II. They accomplished the entire mission of absorbing and turning back Russian aggression with a tiny percentage of NATO military budgets and zero casualties from members. The Ukrainians are reducing the likelihood of war in the Pacific by showing China that offensive operations are more difficult than they appear. Snyder has become one of leading Western commentators on Russian occupation and psyche of Russian President Vladimir Putin, writing and speaking widely, including at United Nations. Despite soundness, his analysis current situation regarding conventional war in Ukraine. Snyder dismisses too abruptly possibility Russia turning to use nuclear weapons. In his view, Moscow's nuclear bluff is largely obsolete and the claim Russia could escalate tensions is a triumph of Russian propaganda. He argues that a stronger Ukrainian conventional military strike would actually reduce the likelihood of nuclear war by showing nuclear blackmail does not work. Snyder's arguments assume that the United States and NATO are victims of analysis paralysis that creates unnecessary concern about escalation, thereby precluding timely increases in weapons such as long-range missiles, fighter jets, and other necessities. A stronger counteroffensive against Russian defenses in eastern and southern Ukraine. One from this perspective, the United States and NATO should provide additional support as soon as possible to enable a decisive military victory for Ukraine, despite Russia's nuclear coercive diplomacy. According to this claim, deep strike systems information networks provided by Ukrainian allies will allow Kiev to strike critical targets within Russia, including command control systems, logistics, military bases, facilities, saving the Russians some of costs that Russia would pay. It damaged Ukrainian forces and civilian infrastructure. We have three main concerns about this optimism about nuclear risk. Concerns that need to be voiced loudly by policymakers, analysts and media commentators. First, the United States NATO cannot and should not assume that Russia's logic regarding nuclear deterrence escalation will follow